The big show here, man. How you feeling?
Feel good. Weight's coming off great. Training camp was great. Everything's just going how I planned it to go. So
talk about signing here and how that all came about. I know you had some fights for Shamrock and stuff like that. So how did this all work, and how did you get to this point where you're here fighting on a Bellator show?
So basically, I was doing one-fight deals with Shamrock. Then Mo came up to me, King Mo, and I was talking to him about who I should sign with or what organization I should go fight for. And he kind of brought up Bellator. We spoke about it. And yeah, he got me in contact with Mike. Messed up his last name right now. Mike, fuck. But anyway, he got me in contact with Bellator. And then, yeah, it was a done deal after that. Once I got in contact with them, they basically put together a deal for me, and it was a done deal after that.
Have you been kind of keeping your eyes on Bellator? Obviously, there's a history here of signing, elite level wrestlers and stuff like that. So, was this someplace that you figured, you know what, man, I'm probably going to wind up here?
I mean, I thought it was a possibility. Also, my other possibility was fighting on the Dana White's Contender Series, trying to get the UFC. But whatever, Bellator came about first, and like I said, I like the way they do business, so I signed.
You're coming from a fantastic wrestling pedigree, collegiately, obviously. Did you look at guys that came before you there, like Woodley and Askren and
Absolutely.
Chandler, and how much of their success in the sport played a factor in you moving from wrestling to MMA?
I just kind of looked up to them, especially since they wrestled at Missouri and they were successful in MMA. I was like, why can't I? Why can't I be the next Mizzou wrestler to make it? So here I am.
Have you spoken to any of those guys yourself about the transition?
Yeah, absolutely. I've spoke to Ben a few times. I spoke to Tyron. Actually, I got to spend a lot of time with Tyron. I actually helped him out with his last training camp. Didn't go as we planned, but I mean, I picked his brain as much as I could, and it was awesome. It was a good experience.
Talk to me a little bit about your training camp for this. Being in South Florida, and what being at such kind of an elite level gym means to you coming into, obviously, the most important fight of your career so far.
So the first half of my training camp, I was actually helping out with Tyron. Still good training for me. But then after that, went back to ATT, got solid rounds with guys that are going to be kind of like my opponent. That's the great thing about ATT. They have so many fighters that if I'm fighting a certain type of guy, I can find a guy just like that to mimic him. And then also a lot of coaches, a lot of top-level coaches like Mike Brown, Dean Thomas, who I actually brought with me, and then fighters that know a lot about the game like King Mo. So, yeah, I think it's the best gym in the world. Talk
to me a little bit about your opponent. He's been around a little bit more than you. A lot of up and downs, though. So, what of his fights have you looked at, and tell me a little bit about what he brings to the table?
I haven't watched too many of his fights, but I kind of looked over his fights, see what he likes to do. Kind of a brawler. He's not afraid to fight, wants to exchange, wants to walk people down and fight them. He's not afraid. He's going to show up ready. So I just think I have more tools in the tool belt than he does. And I think I'm going to find an opening and put him away.
Obviously early in your career, but 4 wins, 4 first-round finishes, I think, right? So
yeah.
Is that the way this needs to go for you on Friday night to make you happy, make a big first impression?
Hey, man, I don't get paid by the minute. I get paid to fucking go in, show up, and win. So that's what I'm going to come to do.
And as you think long-term about the kinds of things you'd like to accomplish, again, like we just said, you're young at this, but what kind of goals do you put for yourself in terms of the full scope of your career?
I want to be a world champion. I want to be remembered. So that's what I'm here to do, and this is just one step in that direction.